Hello. I have a question. Is it possible for somebody in the abroad, I use in the abroad because of the jocular balance online by netizens and people back home in Nigeria, is it possible for someone in the abroad to not be able to successfully train their child or children and now be thinking or think or resort to sending that child or their children back to Nigeria for home training? That's the question. As I'm speaking now, you that is watching me, have you heard or not heard of Nigerian parents in diaspora who are so fed up to hear, who are so frustrated, and they are thinking of sending their children back or child back to Nigeria? That child might be a trouble child, that child might be a normal child, no issues, but they feel they cannot raise their children in the society of the abroad, that diaspora where they find themselves. Food for thought. And we're going to break that one down in this edition today. Welcome to If You Asked Jimmy. If you see the pattern of my presentation, there are a lot of questions that comes up. I introduce it as a question. I try to break it down and have a conversation with you, my audience. I'm a parent myself, and I know what parenting is. I've been there. And this particular topic today is very, very critical. It's a conversation we need to have. But before we go on, please like this video, smash the subscribe button so that when I upload a video, you'll be the first to be notified, and you're not going to miss out on this our engaging series of life in diaspora and about contemporary issues happening in Nigeria. And we get each video gives us the opportunity to learn, grow, and live better in a rapidly changing and dynamic world where we find ourselves. Thank you very much for your subscription. I'm already thanking you in advance. Thank you for your subscription. Please make sure you do it. So that my thank you will not be in vain. Just kidding, okay? Now back to business of today. The parent that's listening to me, have you heard of someone? Because I'm hearing of it recently now. I hear parents say they want to send their children back to Nigeria for home training. Okay, let's put it this way. They want to send their children back to Nigeria or their child. So you see, some is a particular child. Some, it's like a parental thing where they're thinking their children. I don't know the number of children, so it doesn't matter how many children. They feel that at a particular age, they need to ship them back to Nigeria so that they for some reasons. Please, if you have never added a comment on this channel, on this one, I want to know your view. Please, when you finish watching, go in the comment section and share your view with me. If you are a parent or a professional person in the humanities or sociology or social work here in America or any other part of the world, please, if you want to engage on this, if you want to come to speak to this issue, I welcome you. I already have a lot of professionals that I've outlined for different series that will be coming to you. They'll be helping us with the professional view of some of these things. They will help us, with some academic view and also some realistic view and also one-on-one experience on a lot of topics that I'll be bringing. But on this one, as a parent, a lot of people that will be listening to me will be one parent. They'll be a parent in a way, or they'll be a family member. Everybody has children in their family. So please, if you want to have this conversation, if it's more than one, if I get more than one person, we might just do a kind of cohort and we'll stream it. Everybody will come online and we'll talk about it. All these conversations are not for entertainment. Listen, if I want to grow this channel, I have enough knowledge of the digital space to be able to feed my channel with things that would drive traffic to the algorithm in such a way that maybe I can earn something from it. But I'm happy. I have my daytime job. I have a mission. You can go in this channel. You will see intro to the channel. You will see like a 3 minutes clip where I defined my mission is actually to add value to society. Okay, that's why if you are someone who wants to come on, who you feel like this guy did not drive this point home very well, okay, I can help him. I have some views that can even open up this issue. Let's engage in the comment section. You will see my email even in the description, and if you want to engage privately, I can definitely give you my number and we can WhatsApp, and we can now come we can have recordings or do a live stream that will help other people to benefit from your viewpoint. This is a very sensitive topic because our children are their how many of you think in your mother tongue before you now think in your diaspora, in your acquired English language tongue? We always fill forms here. We say that English is our first language. That's how you fill the form. You say, what's your first language? It's English. But sometimes I have to think in my natural mother tongue, and then I now convert into English, which is a problem a lot of times, right? So this issue of training children is very, very huge. Where I digressed is I wanted to say that that our children are the glory of tomorrow. A lot of parents are not having personal issues. They don't have money issues. If they have money issues, they are hardworking. They are able to pay their bills. The only headache they are having in this time and at this time and season of their lives is over their children or one child. They are so scared, Steve. They are so worried. They don't even know what to do with their children. I don't know now. Maybe I should use the singular child or their children, especially for several reasons, for different reasons. Now, for parents who are thinking of sending their children home, the main theme, the main reason, the driving purpose of that move for them, some have, some are currently, some are planning, some are planning to, and some are thinking of, and some are rolling it over in their minds. So different categories. Some children they already found themselves back in Nigeria, while some are on the way, while some might be on the way, but the parents are still processing it. The primary purpose is what most parents say is for home training, so they can have home training. I digged in the dictionary and I looked up the meaning of home training. Home training means to be accountable. It's like an idiomatic expression for someone to have home taught manners and social etiquette. So it can be used either figuratively or idiomatically. Let's go into the grammar. Home training, being able to behave well, politely, and is used for people who are polite. When you see people who are polite, they say the person has home training. It's not a Nigerian thing or African thing. If you check your dictionary, you'll find home training is English. So it means that home training, being well behaved, being courteous, being polite, you understand, having social etiquette, having manners is a global thing. It exists in the English dictionary, it exists in our culture, and it exists in all cultures. So it's a global thing. But because of the transition, because of the movement, because of migration issues, some parents have issues with the culture shock, the difference in the culture of the places where they find themselves in their abroad, such that they think their children do not have that quality of politeness, of well behavior, please permit that in quotes now, of home taught manners, of social etiquette that they could be proud of and own as parents. They do not like what they are seeing with the environment. Sometimes it's not about the children. The parents are they are worried, they get so hyper over the environment where they are raising their children. Not neighborhood right now, but just the environment of the country, the culture, the overarching culture of whether it's Canada or the United States or Ireland or Australia or maybe somewhere Europe or wherever. So the concern is that they see that these children go to school and they are so different than them. That's how Americans use. They say different than. Let me use English, British English. They are so different from them. They are different from the parents, even though they live at home with the parents and the parents do their best to nurture these children. The parents still see that it's like their children are like strangers to them in certain aspects, because all the children get to learn and acquire are the ways that the people of the country where they find themselves, they are doing they are doing things the same way like them. And the parents are worried and they do not want to lose these children totally to the countries or the culture of the places where they find themselves. So their aim is to make sure that these children end up being well behaved, good character, moral character, and all of that. Ooh. I'm someone that usually reasons things out. I'm a very critical thinker, and I want to ask, that thought or action of moving the children to your home countries, this is not a Nigerian thing, maybe to Africa, for example, is it not like you want to jump from frying pan to fire? Or is it not? Or is it? It's a question. I'm not indicting you, I'm just asking. To some people, it might be the problem solver for them, it might be the solution. To some others, it might not be the solution. How are you going about it that it won't amount to you solving a 2025 problem with a 1970, 1980, or 1990 mindset? I remember in my primary school, nursery and primary school, there was a guy, Kayode, I won't call his last name. My mates that we went to Gomode Nursery and Primary School together, they remember this, in the late 70s and early 80s. Oh my gosh, I'd already let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, there are many Kayodes in the school. At least I didn't mention the last name. This boy was repatriated from America. That was the first time I saw roller skates. He came back. He was so Americanized. Well, just kids. Looking back now, maybe the parents had good reasons for sending him back. This guy was so different. Let me put it that way. Let me do some little damage control here. This guy was very different from all of us. Absolutely different. It was sharper. It was not as calm and cool. It was very hyper. Very hyper. I remember clearly, even as a child, some of the ways this boy used to behave. So maybe some parents, that's what they're experiencing. That, you know what Yoruba call ehona? They will say, this child has become wild. That's wild. Wild. Has become wild. If you have a domestic animal, in Africa, if you have a pet, I have to be careful about this because of, the abroad is a place where, pets could even be somebody's child. But when pets grow wild, they are no longer pets. So children are seen like pets, not really like pets, but you are looking at them as people that are tamed and of good character and good conduct and they can be related with. But when a domesticated pet, a domestic pet, or a pet in the domestic setting will definitely be friendly and will not hurt people. But a wild version of that pet, for example, I don't want to mention any particular pet, will definitely be unapproachable for human beings. That's exactly the way it is. What I'll say is this: if any parent is experiencing frustration, you have to think it through very, very well. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. This guy sang a song, but don't let me go there. Be careful. It's not a bad thing to do, but be sure that is what you want to do. Because you don't want to add salt to injury, especially for a parent or parents that are not prepared to move with their children right now. See, I am a parent inside and out. I am a total parent. I love my children with every fiber of life in me. And I thank God for them. And I'm happy to see the good, well-mannered and cultured and self-disciplined young lady and young man they have become. My children are already in their 20s. I have a son who graduated like 3+ years ago, and my daughter is almost stepping out of university right now. I'm saying this because at least I have the experience as a parent. My experience in parenting right now, I have how many years of experience? I have 20-something years of experience in parenting. So I know what it means to be a parent. Before you add salt on injury, be careful. One condition: if the parents are not moving with the children and they are not ready to make that move now, be careful before you ship your children to a system of hostel or to family, even if that family is your twin brother or twin sister. You see, for parenting, foundation is everything. Foundation is everything. Go and ask the sociologists or counselors or people who are child experts. They will tell you that a child's character is formed. Everything they will be is ingrained in them by the age of 6 or 7. By the age of 12, the personality of that child is already cut inside them. It's already molded. It's already formed. You can only be doing the balancing act and doing damage control along the line and maybe doing some things to straighten them up. You think that 6 years is, what does a 6-year-old know? What does a 12-year-old know? You don't know. That's not how society works. Children are they are God gifts, but parenting is complex. But it can be easy if only you are an intentional parent from the get-go. You don't start to parent children when they have already been formed. Their character is formed. That doesn't mean that you cannot correct. You can always correct all along the line, but it's easier for anybody who wants to make children be ready to parent them. That's why when I hear people, I want to have 7 children, I want to have 10 children. You can even have a dozen, but this is not 1964. The society we have right now, the complexity of this society is not a situation where even in those 60s and late 50s, our parents, grandparents, they went to school, they went to hostels. Some of them took trains to go to their destination. Their parents didn't follow them to secondary school, maybe to Balewa College, maybe to King's College in Lagos, maybe to some colleges in Warri, in the east, some prominent schools over there. People travel long distances and they had to, go to hostels. You understand? No parents followed them, and at least they were able to survive it. So right now, those who did not go to hostels then, if their parents had 10 children, they saw the 10 children every day. In fact, our parents are so conscious of us that if a parent has, let's say, 5 children, if one is not in the house maybe by 7 or 8, they start asking, where is this, where is that? But these days that a parent is still at work till late in the evening or in the traffic, or even in this American system where it is just work. All you do is work. And you hardly even see the children. Before they wake, you are gone. By the time they wake, in fact, you have to take PTO for you to attend their school events. You are a good parent, but you are not present so much in the life of the child just because you have to pay your bills. And even if you are in Africa, or let me say Nigeria, for example, you have to go there to work. Even if you have a business of your own, you might have an office maybe on the island. Anyway, Lagos is not the whole of Nigeria. It might be a distance, especially for those in Lagos or in the big cities. You have a driving distance to work. You leave home very early. In fact, many children in their 20s right now, some in their 30s, were trained by people other than their parents, maybe by nannies or something. By the time they are leaving home very early, they will drop the children for a neighbor. When the school bus comes, the neighbor will help them with it. Or maybe the wife will be a stay-at-home mom, maybe doing business so that the husband can go work, or the husband will go and the wife will go work, the husband will have a private business, so that at least there will be a parent who can put the children on the buses. These things have been going on. Now, when it comes to the character of these children, it is not something that you can do with fire brigade approach. Remember, I said, if the parent is not following the child, now people have number of children. It's not even in the size of the family, but the fact that society is now very, very complex. The schools are not instilling discipline in those children now like it used to be in your own days as a parent. Remember what happened to Sylvester, whether it's Oruni or Moruni or something like that. You see the bullying, how the boy was bullied to pie. There's this girl, there's a viral video that went of one girl that was bullied. I think it's in a school, in a private school for that matter, because I know you are not shipping your children to go send them to public school. You are thinking there's one fantastic private school that has reputation. They take care of them. They give them separate rooms. They feed them the best. It's a nice school. It's for the VIPs. They even get to meet the who is who's. My friend, think before you do. Think before you act. Some people, you have heard of failed this, failed that, failed banks. Some parents are failed parents. They are failed upfront. It is nothing about the children. It has nothing to do with the children. You see, you can be the best parents and then still have some difficult children just because of exposure to school and to other aspects of society. It happens. Even the best of parents, very innocent ones, sometimes they just inherit this liability of societal influence on children. I fully understand. But some parents are failed parents up front. Some people are overindulging. Some people are over disciplinarians. And if you do not find the balance of training children or raising children or nurturing children in love and in an atmosphere that you can actually not worry about them, there's a problem. Shipping those children, I for one can't say is a right decision or not. It is in your hands, but think very well. If you are still looking at Nigeria as the Nigeria where you grow up, you are probably mistaken. It is the Nigeria now that they put add drugs in cupcakes. It's the Nigeria they put drugs in drinks. It's the Nigeria that in fact, if you see what's going on, you'll be surprised that the world is now global. Some of those children are TikTokers more than the ones that are in America. They know what is going on in every part of the world. If you don't believe, can you hear the language? In a way, good for me. I'm happy that I'm not exonerating my children, but I think they will be Gen Zs now. Are they Gen Zs or millennial? But the truth is that when you hear this, there are some usages, there's some languages that these children, not mine, I have already outgrown that. I didn't experience that with my children, that if they're having conversation with you, they'll be using terminologies that are not even in the English dictionary, and they among themselves, they understand it. So you are still fooling yourself thinking that it is like Nigeria of those days. The children in Nigeria, they are not as backward as you think. They are up to date. The society or the environment might make them look like, okay, maybe, all these are Brodians. We think that we are first class and so other people are not other classes or second or third class. There's nothing like that. In these days of internet, everybody is on the same page. The only thing is that the bank balance and the cash in the pocket of everybody differs, and the privileges they have differs. Those schools are not instilling discipline like that. And when you even see those mission schools, like I can talk of schools around Lagos, Ogun State, like kind of thing, like maybe Covenant, let me mention names here, like Babcock and those kind of things, like Redeemers, and you heard what happened at Igbenedon University the other time. Now you saw, there was something that things do happen. Private universities, even the religious ones, there's one by the, what is it called now? Apostolic Faith. I think that one is that not the Babcock? When they started, parents wanted to ship their children there. There's Deeper Life has their own. All these churches have private schools. Even the Muslim, they have their own. I think they are pro-Muslim, even the universities in Ibadan. Think true. Think well. Those days where your own parents used to ship people back to Nigeria, the schools that were raining them were mission schools. Like I said, you don't wait till teenage years to train your children. You're not asking, okay, what are you saying now? Guy, what are you saying? I said, I can't tell you to ship your children or not. If you asked me, best case scenario is when parents and children are together. But me, I still don't understand how some people will need other people to train their children for them. In those days, sometimes people dump their children for their parents, maybe because of work and too busy, or they think that this child don't spoil, they'll give the elderly, and then those parents, they successfully train these children, right? But it's not so like that. Again, by the age of 6 or 7, a child is formed. This is a message to parents. If you have little children, you call them kids. I don't call children kids. If you go look the meaning of kids, the first meaning will jump at you. Well, in America, the operational word for children, I mean, in informal conversation, is kids, but I never call my children kids. I have never. I will never. I shall never. So you start with your children when they are small. Foundation is everything. If you catch a fish, your Bible will say a fish that is fresh from catch, when you first catch it, it will still be flexible. You can bend it. But if you want to bend a stiff fish, a fish that has been dried or smoked, you will break it. You cannot do what you did with a fresh fish. You can't do it with a dried fish or a smoked fish. A fresh fish can be bent, it can be molded, it can be turned in any shape, but a smoked fish or a dried fish will definitely break. I am not leaving you in the middle with an answer. I've already told you, if you have parents who are passionate about this, want to discuss it, let's talk. Connect me in the comment section and let us talk about this. You will not succeed in bending a fish that is straightened. Are you saying we should just throw our hands in the air and give up? No, sir. No, ma'am. Look at where the problem is coming from. It's foundational. You know, there are some liberties that children have abroad, and there is a level of discipline that there's a limit to the kind of the fiscal level of discipline, like corporal punishment, that some African parents used to give to their children, which is not acceptable in this society and might land the parents in losing in jail or losing the children. But that's not to say there's no remedy. But it's sending them to Nigeria out of your. I can't even imagine my children out of my reach when we were growing together. Everybody has left home now. It's sending them back to Nigeria the solution. The only time when I was transitioning to America and I needed to, come before my family, oh my God, not seeing my children, I know what it means. You might have trust in another person, a member of the family who has successfully trained their children. If you are fortunate to have such a family member, congratulations, I clap for you. Who you know by the way they have raised their children and they have results. Good for you. But it's very rare to even find such people to now be parents by proxy. Here, except for parents who have the fear of their children going to jail due to drug addiction, due to some kind of hard life. If you have children like that, some parents will not even think twice. They believe, because maybe over there, it's not as if Nigerian society is tolerant, but they don't just throw somebody in jail if you are not a drug pusher. Maybe the penalty might be limited a little bit. If you are not a drug pusher, if you are just a consumer, maybe the punishment or the sanction may be less. But here, a parent might be worried. Maybe your child is already smoking, it drinks a lot, and he can get in trouble. And here, they don't joke. It might mean, that child going to correctional center. I see your point. I've not mentioned anything spiritual here, like prayer, like all that kind of things. Sometimes there's common sense and there's the place of God. God will help you with your children. But I want to say, you see, I left a lot of things open-ended. It's not something I can finish in a conversation. Let's have that engagement. I think this is something I reserve some topics for a live show. I call this series Parable of a Parent. I just finished a video on what I called Can You Relate, which is Japa series, and that one has hundreds of topics. But this one, be careful, because things have changed a lot in Nigeria. Apart from, I'm not saying that if your child now goes to Nigeria, they are going to be doing drugs. That happens in the city. I don't know if the drug thing has gotten to the interland, and then I do not know whether it's that kind of traumatic punishment you want to give that child by disconnecting them from this environment, if it is not on the borderline of crime or jail. Over there, you are not aware of the epidemic proportion of cultism right now. It's a concern. Cultism has been around for so long in Nigeria, at least since the 60s. openly by their fathers that brought it to the higher institution. Cultism is not a tertiary institution thing now. There are cults in high school, different kind of cults. Before, cultism was very rampant among the male gender. Right now, you have male cults, you have female cults. And these cults are not even like fraternities that are there to just help or support themselves for common good. Some of them are very violent. Some of them do unimaginable things, unprintable things that I can't even say here. Ask those who know. If you know, you know. And I'm not scaring you with this. I'm just giving you some things that you need to consider. Don't just look at it, oh, Nigeria is far better than this. It depends on who is going to be the custodian of your children over there and the environment, how much time they do have to also care for these children at a time like this. So you not even see those people as failure in case anything goes wrong with your children. And I pray nothing goes wrong with them. Apart from the cult, the cult thing is there. There's cult war. Do you know that even mechanic now, then they cult, then they join cults? If you don't believe me, ask people who are at home. Gambling is just like second nature now to people. A lot devices. You see, the world is just, there's this decadence. It is global. Only that there are different versions of the societal corrosion of values and deterioration and decadence in the different cultures. Again, if your child is on the borderline of jail here, maybe it might be a good idea. Why? You are not saving the child from jail. You are saving the life of the child, because they can get into trouble. Maybe they get hit by a gun. Here is a country where I'm speaking from America here, and we know that guns are licensed. People are licensed to carry guns, and things do happen. So maybe that you just want that child to be safe, at least no matter the situation. You know, parents, they do pray, they work hard, they do all their best, and the children turn around to be okay. And your children will turn around to be okay. That's my wish for you. That's my prayer. If there's no borderline crime, borderline jail, borderline exposure to, something that, because it's better to have that child alive with the hope of rehabilitation, the hope of reformation. And some children, it's not even a rehab for them. It's just a kind of reorientation. You are trying to save them. Like I said about the fish that is fresh, you are still trying to, you are still trying to save the day. You are still trying to, I don't know which English to use now, to arrest the situation while it is arrestable. But then some children have been sent abroad and they turn out better. Just make sure again that I can't over advise you, because I don't know, already this video it has shot beyond the time that I planned for it. My stopwatch I'm looking at my stopwatch here. I want to rest it here. What do you think? What's your opinion on this issue? What is your take? Yeah, as much as you realize that something should be done, that is very good. The awareness that you need to make a move, there needs to be a change. Congratulations. That is a problem identified, is half solved. Okay, that is beautiful. So that you didn't get to a point that everything will just break down and be like, oh, if only I had known. But to send children home, back to Nigeria for home training, or other parts of Africa, I don't know about other parts, let me talk about Nigeria, and to keep them here is a choice you need to make carefully. Don't just look at it. My real caveat here, my real purpose of doing this is, don't just think naively, don't just think casually that by relocating the children they will be safe. No, not just safe, they will be better behaved, because Nigeria has high morality quotient. Yes, our culture differs, and I think some things are not as wild over there as here. But make sure that child, if they are sent back, they are situated in the kind of environment that is not going to take anything from them. Definitely there will be opportunity costs. Definitely there will be some trade-offs. Definitely there will be some things lost for some things to be gained. But make sure that the aim of making sure that child turns out right is achieved, that they will be good for themselves and be good for you and be good for society. They will not be misfits and they will not be miscreants, and they will not turn out to be what you do not wish to identify with as a parent. Let me rest it here because this video is already stretchy. Thank you for watching. Please, if you are yet to subscribe, click the like button and subscribe to my channel, and go in the description, get my email. If you want to come on this program, let me know. Let's talk about it. If you have, some things to chip in, I rambled a lot, my thoughts here and there, but probably you will be able to help us out in a conversation that will help our community. Please come up and talk to me. I'll send my number to you, and you can just go ahead. The rest of us, let's go in the comment section and let's see your view. I might even be able to do a second part of this, but I know definitely, I promise you, that someday we're going to have a live stream on YouTube, on what is it called now, on Facebook, and on other channels, because this channel is on Facebook, is on YouTube, is on Instagram, and it's also on TikTok. And we should be able to do a streaming that it will be participatory, and then we can benefit, other than just a single person like me, talking to us this way. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Bye, and happy parenting. I wish you success with your children.